Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Anman, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Nick.
Hello, I'm Nick.
Good morning. And Spence is here.
Good morning.
And Mike is here.
Hello, I'm Mike.
Mike on Mike. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by VMake Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear.
So you updated the opening roll. When did Katie do that?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I didn't notice it last week. I must.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, I'm in it.
That's not true. You're in the old one too.
You're in the old one.
Yeah, one in the quad shot.
Oh, gee. Well, that's an inaccurate statement.
See, you weren't part of the equity union.
No.
Couldn't get it.
Now, hey, Amnon,
Yes.
I've got to stop you. Can you go back? You've got some of the nav bar bleeding into the double box shot. On that.
I am just looking at that.
Okay, I want to see if you'd catch it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it, and I'm trying to figure out which, on the multi-view, which one it is. You guys keep going.
All right. Well, happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody.
I learned something on the Vietnam show this past Wednesday. You don't say Happy Memorial.
No, I was just thinking the same
It's
thing.
like saying Happy Memorial. The thing was, it's like I'm happy they died.
Yeah, happy that people died. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean, I got it.
It's kind of a weird social thing that we go through, but I think more and more people.
What do you say? How do you say that?
Have a blessed, or just
don't say anything.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a good.
I stopped saying things. I just don't say anything. What's appropriate?
Well, either way, I hope you're having a good Memorial Day weekend as you're enjoying.
I hope that you get a chance to reflect.
And the other thing that I learned is that on Memorial Day tomorrow at 3:00 in the afternoon, you're supposed to stop what you're doing and reflect and remember those that fell.
What is this? Tomorrow at 3:00?
That's tomorrow. Yeah, on Memorial Day at 3 p.m.
Oh, that's good.
And this was set up by President Clinton, actually, and it's been carried on.
I'm just curious. What time was Monica in the Oval Office? Was it about 3:00?
Oh boy, nah. That's
actually not true at all. It was actually established by Congress.
Yeah, I mean, but it was. I think it's during his.
I'm reading a Huffington Post article about it. That's surprising. I'm surprised they don't say spit on the ground at 3:00. Because we hate America. I'm surprised that's not their.
It's at 4:00.
Yeah, 3:15.
It's amazing the things that you don't think of. I mean, how it started, who started it, what it was. It used to be called Decoration Day.
Yes.
Because people went and decorated graves. And it was a very interesting show.
Got a little bit of a tease. If you're going to be listening to Against the Norm tonight, it's actually going to be a combination of a couple president's speeches from Memorial Day. So
nice.
That's what'll be on this evening, as well as some. I'm actually glad you told me about this national moment of remembrance, because I'll make sure to mention that during one of the segments as well. So Tune in for a couple speeches this evening.
And this evening is, and we'll mention it at the end of the show. This evening at 7 p.m.
Mhm.
Oh, you can listen if you're local in Wilmington. You listen to it on
106.7.
But most of you people can listen to it on iTunes and just look for
search WFBT, download the app, or listen on TuneIn.
Yep. All right.
Speaking of TuneIn, we're going through a bunch of changes. Anybody know what's going on?
They don't allow you to submit stations to the store anymore.
Well, that's kind of like stupid.
Well, I think it's stupid. I would assume what they're doing is they're trying to cut down on the amount of
podcasters.
No, because they've got podcasting. They've got a podcast directory and a radio and a station directory. The podcast directory is still alive and well. The station directory, I would imagine they're cutting down on. I wonder if people are going after them for illegal music stream. I wonder if they're getting kind of caught up in the mix on all these people that are just not paying royalties and quote playing radio on the internet.
But why would they not do a broadcast radio station?
Well, I think they may just be in a process where they're coming up with a new submission process where they're doing some type of verification.
Yeah, I was just going to say it also may be that they are making changes.
Yeah.
Technically making changes to the service, so they don't want to bother with having to add, because over there you don't get added automatically. It's somebody has to get in and do it. So they say, okay, we're going to put that on the back burner now. We're going to fix everything, and then we come back. Because I agree, Mike, it'll be stupid for them to say, okay, no more.
As of April 12th, 2018, at this time, we are not adding new stations to our directory.
Yeah.
And I would imagine if you contact them and you're a full service radio station, I would imagine you'd get added. But yeah, I think there's a lot of what I would assume to be illegal content being streamed on TuneIn, and they may be getting some hot water for it.
They may. Yep.
Well, they're just a directory service. They really don't stream it.
No, they don't. But they do inject their ads into it, which means at some point they're capturing the stream. So somebody could be making that case. And
I've never heard that. I've never heard ads inserted.
Oh yeah, they insert pre-roll ads all the time. And some, they do. I have the TuneIn Premium, which is like like $100 a year or whatever.
Wow, big bucks.
Yeah, well, the cool thing with that is you get to listen to baseball, football, and
I can't miss that.
Baseball, football games, which is something you can't typically stream online. So my father and I pay for the split that cost, so we can listen to the baseball games on the go.
All right. So who did
next question?
Okay, go ahead.
I just had something I wanted to bring up for potentially further discussion later that I want to get Mike's comments on. Mike, are you aware of this whole cocky gate thing?
No.
It's a woman registered the term cocky and is now suing. It says it's causing a problem for other self-publishing and other types of authors because she's saying you can't use the term. She registered cocky and a specific font, and it's creating all kinds of problems now. There, a bunch of authors got together and wrote a bunch of small stories and published them under some title for cocky. And now they're all getting sued, and it's just because they're all upset about it. It's basically putting people.
I'd take their case.
Oh yeah, I know. But the point is that none of these people has the money to even hire. These are all self-publishers.
I would.
But it's getting a lot of attention in the digital reading space.
That's because people are stupid. But
well, she's already sent cease and desist letters out to other authors.
How do you spell it?
COCKY. Registered a trademark on cocky and is using it to threaten other romance. It's not just romance authors. That's what this particular article says.
Do you know when it was registered?
I don't know. The article, my daughter told me about it a week ago. Said it was pretty recent.
The register being Hop Productions.
Oh, the woman's name is Felina Hopkins.
Well, that sounds like a hop for Hopkins.
Yeah.
So cocky was
She's
registered.
cocky.
The priority date is September 12th, 2017. And it is for a series of downloadable ebooks in the field of romance. And also a series of books in the field of, so it's books and downloadable books in romance books using the word cocky. That does not mean that you cannot use the word cocky in your book. It means that you can't say this is the cocky brand book.
Well, here's her cease and desist letter. It says, I'm writing to you out of professional respect so that you may rename your book Cocky Cowboy, which shares the same title as my book, and replenish all the versions of your ebook and remove that from my attorney, Morris Yam Entertainment Law, has advised me that I will sue you and win monies.
I'd take their case because the title of a book cannot be protected.
Well, she's apparently wrote a book called Cocky Brothers and the Cocky Series. And now,
now, if you say it's Cocky series of books, that might be different. But if you say the Cocky Barber or whatever, I mean, I'm just telling you that the analysis is complicated, and I'm just telling you that I would take their case.
yeah. Oh,
and if she's got money, I'd take it on contingency. Sue for her for an unfair and deceptive trade practice or misusing a trademark. And I haven't read the letter and all that, so I'm just going based on what you said. I mean, getting deeper into it, hopefully her attorney wouldn't let her do something so stupid.
Well, he sounds like a troll anyway, so.
Big bucks.
It's a shame.
Oh, well, I thought it was interesting.
All right, let's shift here.
No, wait a minute. Hang on a minute.
Okay.
Who uses Vivaldi?
I do every now and then.
It is a piece of crap. What
Why?
is going on with this software?
Why?
It took 2 minutes to open a web page.
The first time.
Well,
after it updated, it takes, well, not 2 minutes, but it takes a long time.
All right, I'm going to do it again and see if it'll open now.
And then
now it's opening. What?
After it updated.
Oh, geez. Caller, please turn down your speaker.
Shut up. Well, shouldn't it tell you that it's updating instead of just sitting there doing nothing?
It does. Normally, it has a little pop-up in the middle, and it says, we will open your page as soon as we're done. And they have a lot of updates. They're diligent on that.
Good. I tried it one time before, and it wouldn't work on a second monitor.
I don't know. I use it a couple of times a day. Not as my main, but
see, the problem you've got here is that I'm on this Windows 7 computer.
Yeah.
I have IE, which I only use it because it pops up on a second monitor. I don't have to move Chrome and Firefox back over to the main monitor when I access it remotely. But none of your video will stream on IE11.
That's not surprising.
And if you start Vivaldi and put it on the second one and close it, it will not come back on the left.
I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to play with it again.
Oh,
no, but what Mike is saying, and I have the same problem as well. I remote into my computer from work via TeamViewer, and I've got stuff scattered across all 4 screens, and it's a real pain to try to figure out where the hell the program you're trying to access is, because you see it on the taskbar at the bottom. So you click on it thinking it's going to pop up, but if it's on the second screen, you end up minimizing it. So you switch over to the second screen, it's not there, and it's.
But isn't that true about all programs?
Well, it is, but Mike's saying that's the reason he does it.
Oh,
because when he logs in remotely, he's not trying to dig around to find his web browser or whatever he's trying to do. I have the same problem as well, because every once in a while I'll throw Chrome or something on one of my left 2 or my left or right monitor.
But in general, Mike, I mean, Vivaldi is pretty fast.
Well, I can't get it to log into chat now.
I've never used any of those browsers. I've only ever used Chrome or Firefox for limited things.
It just logged in when I moved it to the first monitor. I'll move it back. Let's see if it'll let me post in chat. It's working now, so I guess you have to do it. And I don't know. I'll play with it more when I
Did
get
you
some
log
time.
into chat?
I did.
Oh, okay. I was going to try. Yeah, it's pretty good. Actually, I mean, it's based on Chrome, but it's faster on my machines.
Well, I'll start using it instead of IE. I just got to get rid of IE.
Why aren't you using Chrome?
I've got 100 tabs open in Chrome. I don't need one more.
Okay.
You have to pay extra if once you go over 100.
Right. Once you get 101, they double the price.
Oh, okay. So who did the Windows 1803, the latest update?
I tried again this week. I still had the same issue.
I have mine frozen. It's not going to do it.
I haven't turned my Windows 10 computer on in 2 weeks, so I haven't tried it.
Yep.
Well,
I'm
I can go turn it on now. We'll see if it'll work.
I'm continuing to try it.
The article go which Nick, which SSD do you have?
Yeah, Samsung or
You have a
I think
Samsung?
it's the Samsung. Yeah. Let me check.
Okay. The article goes that Microsoft has halted the deployment of the Windows 10 April 2018 update for computers using certain types of Intel and Toshiba solid-state drives.
I actually might have a Toshiba. Let me check.
The Redmond-based OS maker took this decision following multiple user reports about the Windows 10 April 2018 update not working properly on devices using Intel SSD 600p series, Intel SSD Pro 6000p series, Toshiba XG4 series, Toshiba XG5, and Toshiba BG3. The Intel and Toshiba issues appear to be different. More specifically, Windows PCs using Intel SSD would often crash and enter a UEFI screen after reboot, while user of Toshiba SSDs reported lower battery life and SSD drives becoming very hot. So in each case, I mean, the thing does come up, but it creates problems.
I have a Corsair, so I don't think that's part of my problem.
This is
How is that possible, though?
Microsoft digging. It's like hand them a shovel because they're digging a hole.
Wait, Nick? What did you ask? How is it?
I said, how is it possible that those two brands of SSDs have got? I mean, it's just
I don't know.
Because Microsoft said 2 years ago that when they started to adopt this new model for distributing feature updates, that they were going to direct most of their attention to development and take people off of doing regression testing. They actually said it. They made a statement. That's what they're doing. They're not testing it.
I got that they're not testing it. But what could possibly be different about the Samsung or the Toshiba and the Corsair SSDs
It's the embedded device drivers, and
I guess so. Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't. I think it's easy to sit here and blast Microsoft for these updates, and they deserve to some extent some bashing for, as you're saying, Spence, not doing proper testing on these. But how many hundreds of thousands of Windows computers are out in the wild with all different hardware and software and
exactly.
It's how do you truly? And the problem is us as users don't do our due diligence and we don't test the betas.
I got out to the Redmond lab one time at one of many labs. I was out there in the capacity of trying to give them gigabit networking hardware to use in their lab, where this happened to be the Lenovo testing lab, where Lenovo shipped every laptop they made, every model went to Microsoft to sit in this lab for interoperability testing. Do they do that anymore? Do they have every single piece of hardware? So we went in there just to try to say, hey, we have our networking gear in the Microsoft lab. And we were also helping put in like a high-speed link between the mothership and the lab, which was not in the campus, the Microsoft campus. But the other part of this, and I was thinking about this morning, is that do you notice how many manufacturers now distribute their updated drivers through Microsoft. They no longer, you go to the web page,
Yeah.
you pick up a driver and it says, oh no, it's part of this Microsoft release. That is lazy. I'm sorry that you need
I
to
don't
be
know
able to
that
provide.
I don't know that it's lazy. It may be that this is what Microsoft does, and this way it's safe because Microsoft has the driver, and they say, "Okay, here."
Well, if
I don't
that's
know.
the case, then they're not doing their job.
I think some of this blame does need to be pinned on the users, though, Spence. I mean, Brian and I talk about this on Infection about video games all the time. These developers put out updates as beta. They put things out for test, and users, ourselves included, and people in the chat, don't want to do the updates to the beta because we're afraid something is going to happen. So they don't have a big enough test bed of actual real life users. We are shooting ourselves in the foot in some respect. And I'm just as guilty as everybody else.
No,
but
that's true. But the people that I'm thinking about are my customers who don't have any idea what's going on. And when they turn their computer on after getting the feature update, they got a whole bunch of new icons that they don't know what they're there for. Everything defaults to Edge or some other crap.
Yep.
And they're like, what do I do? I can't get anything to work. My printer stopped working. My network stopped working. These are people that just want to turn their machine on and have it work.
Yeah, it's definitely a problem. I just there's blame to be there's blame to be put on both parties, being ourselves and of course Microsoft. And I don't know what the solution is. How do you people are so freaking afraid to test these updates, which I just don't get. Oh, I don't do updates. I don't do updates. I don't do updates. And then the problem is then they do an update and it's like, well, of course it's not going to work. Microsoft tries to test these things and nobody wants to use them. Nobody wants to even entertain the idea of running a test build.
If you do the feature update exclusion, if you have Pro or Enterprise Windows 10, you can go in and set the timer for up to 1 year to delay, but it doesn't stop the security update. So you're okay.
But I think that's a problem.
You're just stopping the feature update. Feature updates are just nice, new, shiny things they want to put in there. That's what's breaking things.
Yeah, but you can still roll it back if something happens.
I've been doing that. I've been rolling back. I've rolled back twice in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I do the full.
There's a limitation on that too for how many days you can wait.
Oh yeah, it's 60 days for rollback. Yeah. Which by 60 days, if you haven't figured out that it doesn't work, you've got something else.
Oh, Amnon knows why I switched from my very nice, still operating Dell laptop to a desktop now, so I can actually put in a different video card, because every time there was a major feature update, it broke my 2-monitor setup.
What kind of video card did you have?
No, it was the embedded Dell. Well, I take it back. Let me see. This is the one I put a new system board in, because they had 2 video cards. They had the Intel video card, and I think it was an NVIDIA video card, were optional. And the NVIDIA had a problem where the heatsink wasn't touching the actual chip.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm using this machine one day, and all of a sudden I start getting, remember the old days when you get ASCII characters all over the place?
Yep.
Well, that would happen. I'd use the machine for about an hour, and I'd get all the ASCII characters blinking on the screen. Well, it was the overheating chip. So I bought a new system board that had an embedded Intel chip, which didn't require a heatsink, and it worked fine. But I had a dual monitor set up through my docking station, which had a PCI, a DVI and VGA connection. It worked great for years. And then suddenly, after an update, I had upgraded to Windows 10. Couldn't get it to work. It was eventually I found out I could actually turn both monitors on. Never worked right, and would never remember it. Would always come up with one monitor and say the other one wasn't available. So after tearing my hair out for 6 months trying to figure out how to get it to permanently work, because it's an old machine, there's no new drivers, I switched to a desktop where I can put in the new card.
No, but see, that's part of the problem, is you're even admitting, is, it's an older machine, and Microsoft's kind of they're in a tough situation. And believe me, I'm no Microsoft apologist, but they're in a real tough situation with this stuff. It's like, what do you do?
Well, they need to have a clearer policy about feature updates for people. This happened to be a Windows Home Edition machine.
Okay.
So I couldn't delay the updates, but there should be a way to opt out.
But see, the problem with the opt-out is then nobody does the updates, and then there's an article that gets posted by the New York Times that 200,000 Windows computers have been compromised that were running
Well,
old versions of Windows. It's like,
Feature
what
updates are not supposed to. They're not security updates.
No, you're right. You're right. I just, God, it's such a
So-
catch-22.
Because here they are. I mean, Microsoft tried to become the Apple model, where you come up with a new version of iOS every so often for free that's got loaded with new features. So
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to do. But Apple only has what 15 or 20 different types of hardware they have to support, where
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft has to support millions of combinations of
Mhm.
hardware. It's just they should never have gone to that model. They can't support it. Well, enough. I'm sorry.
no, we'll see.
It's just, it's a tough situation for both parties involved.
Yes. Yes.
Microsoft is looking at it from a PR as a. I mean, you can still see you can still look at all this. There are still tens of thousands of systems that are running old builds of Windows XP in home use, not business, not embedded. People are still, there are grandmothers and fathers all across the United States running old computers with Windows XP that are not updated, that are not secure. And then they're all going to get compromised. And it's going to be like, oh, here we go again. Big bad Microsoft. All their computers are getting compromised. And they've got to be sitting back going, damn it. What are we supposed to do? We try to get people to update. It doesn't work because it breaks everything. And then people sit back and don't update. And now, we are the problem. We're the reason that, 70,000 computers are compromised and all the information's gone on.
The Microsoft police. We need to get a bunch of people in black trench coats and hats.
Well, they
go
call your
around
house, right?
with baseball bats to show up. You haven't upgraded your hardware, and then beat the crap out of you.
The Microsoft police show up. I mean, that's kind of the whole,
Oh,
or I'm sorry, they call your phone and ask if your computer's running good, right?
When I was selling a competitive product to Microsoft, what was it called before they bought Skype, or about the time they bought Skype? What was
Link?
their Wink? Yeah, Winks. Yeah, and how they were integrating all that, right?
Oh, God,
Well,
what a
we had to
disaster.
go in and we actually took a 2-day class on Microsoft licensing.
I'm
So
sorry.
we could understand how to compete with them as far as corporate licenses go. And we were amazed at the tactics that they would use to go in, and they do an audit, and they'd be able to use tools to do an audit of a big company to say, we see that you're using 500 illegal versions of Office. So if you would like to keep this quiet, you can write us a check for and sign up for subscription, and everything is cool.
Damn.
And so it was, I mean, they have every right to do so. It's all part of the licensing. But it was amazing how they would nicely come in and, hold the gun to your head and say, hi, we're from Microsoft. We'd like to, continue our very comfortable relationship together without blowing your brains out.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass. I like that. That's cool.
But it was the nicest letter you get. Say, hey, we're all friends and we'd like to continue this. And oh, by the way, you owe us this.
The literal Microsoft police sending you a letter. That's cool.
Yeah, we love you, man.
Hey, brother.
The money coming. Yeah, they had one of the most convoluted licensing schemes, but boy, did it work to their advantage.
Yeah,
You're going to talk about the router alert from the FBI?
The what?
The router alert from the
Oh
FBI.
yeah. Okay, we can talk about it now.
Yeah, there are the Russians. I have this every once in a while. This face appears on my screen. It's Yuri from
Privyet.
the former Soviet Union.
Privyet.
Yes. He goes, you will pay. And I say, "Niet," and he says, I'll be back. And a little bit later, he pops up again.
It's good. Hopefully it's going to get you to vote differently in the next election.
So yes, I mean, this is important. The FBI is advising users of consumer-grade routers and network-attached storage devices to reboot them as soon as possible to counter Russian-engineered malware that has infected hundreds of thousands of devices. Researchers from Cisco's Talos security team first disclosed the existence of the malware on Wednesday. They are on devices made by Linksys, Microtech with MIK, Microtik, Netgear, QNAP, and TP-Link. It's known as VPN filter. The malware allowed attackers to collect communication and they just do the bad things. The interesting thing about it, so you should go ahead and reboot your device
At a minimum.
at a minimum. The thing here is, and where is that article, is why that whole thing came about is because, where is the article? I don't know. It's somewhere here. The FBI seized control of a botnet, Russian botnet, that was doing this. And they fixed it. So they couldn't do that anymore. Before, while the botnet was working, you can go and reboot all that you want, and right away, somehow it will get infected again. But now that they seized control of that botnet, you reboot and everything is fine because it will not come back. And I don't know what it's the article is somewhere here, but this was very impressive.
It's interesting that the FBI is saying it affects everybody, all router and NAS users should reboot, but there are only 14 confirmed models of routers that are actually
Yeah, well,
affected.
that's bad.
But these are not ones that I would say are real popular. Like the TP-Link, the 3 that they mention are not models that I'm familiar with. So that's
But
okay.
anyway,
Right.
so go ahead and reboot. It doesn't matter. This is what they know. That's not to say that if you have an ASUS, you should not reboot it. Reboot it. I mean, it's a good thing to do anyway.
Let me reboot mine right now. Hold on.
Keep talking.
But,
Nick. We wanna
yeah,
show all our lives.
it's a problem. And again, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't blame it on Trump yet. But this is it may be the Russian government. I doubt it, but it's probably just crime, organized crime in Russia.
I mean, botnets are not a new thing.
Right. But they
Actually,
figured,
it's disorganized crime in Russia.
That actually, that's there you go.
But look, this whole Russian thing is so laughable. But the problem, the reason that it even has had the legs that it has had, is because the Russians are aggressively involved in hacking computers worldwide. If you do a port scan on your computer right now, you will see Russians trying to hack it. It's a fact. But the notion that spray paint cans are going to cause us to die from sun poisoning is about as silly as the Russians hacking into voting machines that aren't connected to the internet.
yeah, right.
Now,
Yeah.
Gene is saying, Nick, I and many of my friends and associates have machines running old versions of Windows, and none of them have been hacked. Going back to the art thing, and this kind of fits into this botnet thing as well. But that's kind of the thing is, of course, not everybody's machine has been compromised yet, but you put yourself liable, and then when you get compromised, you go, "Damn you, Microsoft! Why would you allow this to happen to me?" And that's just not. They're trying to protect themselves, I think.
Happened to me. I had an XP machine get hacked, and that's when I dumped it.
Yeah, but the initial reaction is, oh, Microsoft's fault. But in reality, no, it's not. It's the user's fault for not having a system up to date.
They did warn everybody. So
Absolutely, they did. But then, but when you get compromised, your first response is going to be, oh, it's my fault. Your response is going to be, oh, it's Microsoft's fault. It's Windows' fault. It's Bill Gates' fault. And that's just not fair.
And I was listening to a podcast a couple of 3 weeks ago with a really sharp IT guy.
It was my podcast.
No, that wasn't it. And it was he was a really sharp guy. And one of the things that he said that I think is important to repeat, he said, when you get notified from Microsoft that you've got a security update, That is because they have detected a vulnerability
Yep.
that is currently being exploited, and you're behind already.
Well, of course, you also can get a notice that they detected that you have a virus, and you need to call
Microsoft
them.
called
You
me
need to
about
call
one on my
them.
computer.
Yeah, you need to call them, and
No, they called me.
yeah, sometimes they do. That's right.
You have virus on computer. Go
They're very nice
to
gentlemen over
event
there.
viewer. Do you see red dot? Oh my God, you're infected.
Call your
Send us
primary-
$500. We fix right now.
Yep.
Call
That
your
same
primary
guy
care
called
physician.
me to tell me that I had an arrest warrant out and I had to
Well,
call
see,
back immediately.
times are
Resolve it with
tight.
my credit card.
Well, the times are tight. They have to work 2 jobs.
That's it.
I'm sure you gave him your card,
It's
right?
funny, the guy calls you up. He goes, "I'm calling you. Let's see. I'm not sure if I'm calling you about Microsoft and arrest
This is
warrant
Peggy.
or trying to sell you a aluminum siding."
Yeah, it's just remember again and again that Microsoft does not call you to tell you
Ever.
that no, there's no such thing. These are all, and people are falling from it. This is the sad
Well,
thing.
they go for the.
They
I mean, they go for people like my grandmother, who it took me 55 minutes on the phone earlier this week to get her try to explain to her how to install Facebook on her new Android tablet. She would fall for that 100%.
Yeah.
There's not a doubt in my mind. And she wouldn't even think to call me, which is the worst part. Even though she knows she should, she wouldn't even think about calling me. Oh, I don't want to bother him. She'd give some hacker access to her entire system.
Oh,
I guarantee
Yeah.
I put money on it. I put my inheritance on it. There's not a doubt in my mind if somebody was to call. I could call her and I could get access to all of her stuff.
yep.
It's a real. It's sad, but it's there's no way around it. What are you gonna do?
So that article I found, it says that the Daily Beast reports that the FBI has seized control of a key server in the Kremlin's global botnet of 500,000 hacked routers.
Ooh.
The move positions the Bureau to build a comprehensive list of victims of the attack and short circuit Moscow's ability to reinfect its target. So it's already blamed on the Russian, the Russian.
Trump did it.
Yeah,
Trump's
exactly. He gave them all the information. Absolutely.
Here's all the keys to the computer.
It says that the FBI counter operation goes after VPN filter, which is the malware that they were using. A piece of sophisticated malware linked to the same Russian hacking group known as Fancy Bear that breached the Democratic National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign during the 26th election.
Yeah,
Fancy Bear? Sure, it's not Dancing Bear.
Yeah, is this the group that was transferring data at terabytes a second to an external source, or would that have had to have been an internal drive if they were transferring data?
Terabyte.
Interesting.
They were using the super secret space-time continuum data transfer.
It was Al Gore's internet access they were using.
It was the subspace transfer.
What a bunch of BS.
So anyway, reboot your router.
Yes.
And if you have a NAS or
If
What were the
you are
models again?
capable, a piece of advice: if you are capable of going in and checking, logging into your router and looking, do a status, and then look. Many routers have built-in update capabilities now, where you don't have to go out and search for a new version of the firmware to load yourself. Just click on update, and we'll come back and say there is a new version available for your router.
Now, Spence, you have
Yeah.
any more information on this? Is this certain firmwares, or like I run DDWRT on my Netgear? Am I
No,
vulnerable?
that's not mentioned. Of the 14 that they specifically mentioned, 14 specific routers. There were 3 TP-Link, a couple of Linksys, 3 or 4 Netgear.
So I wonder if the third-party firmware is protecting you, because I run that
No,
on.
I just upgraded. I have a TP-Link.
Crumpo mumbo nigger.
That's why you don't take. That's why you don't leave phone calls up, Am.
that's interesting.
Well, it is. So don't answer any more calls the rest of the show.
Hillary Clinton voter.
Yeah. So I wonder if having DDWRT on here
protects you.
Yeah, because
I would think that that's not
I don't even know if
big
they've got
a big target of theirs.
I don't know if they even have an updater built in, to be honest with you. I think you have to
I have
manually.
mine. The router I'm running with that is actually turned off at the moment. So,
I don't even see a way to firmware upgrade. Yeah, you've got to upload a file, which is
yeah, it's user intensive.
risque.
You got to know what version of chipset you have and
Yeah.
all that.
Charles wants to save the planet. He says, does anybody know how much less idle power an SSD uses over a spinning HD? I don't know what the numbers are. You can look them up on the manufacturer's website. It is less because there's not a motor running, but I will tell you this, I wouldn't give it a thought. I would, as I recall, the average hard drive uses about 13 watts, which is about the amount of an LED light bulb, meaning that over 10 years, it might cost you $2 to run or some stupid number like that.
Mike, it's a great point. I just was thinking about this the other day, going around and finding inexpensive LED bulbs and replacing my compact fluorescent ones. Think about how much power you used in your home 20 years ago.
I'm using more now.
Then 10 years ago, and then 5 years ago.
Yeah, it's up.
Mike runs his saw 24/7.
From a lighting perspective and a heating and cooling perspective, I'm using less power.
I am too for lighting.
And the power companies in some places are actually complaining to say that the reason why they're raising rates is not because it costs them more to generate the power. It's because they're losing revenue because people are saving energy. So they have to raise the rates in order to meet their so-called bottom line.
But they should have stopped sending people free light bulbs and garbage to cut down on their energy. I mean, they sent us a shower head in New York.
That's to be in good graces with politicians.
Yeah. Oh, you'll use less water if you use this low flow shower head. It'll take you 2 times as long to shower.
Well, so that's my question. So if you get a shower nozzle that cuts water usage by 50% and you have to stay in 3 times longer, what's the net savings?
You call a responsible handyman who knows how to take the restrictor out of the shower head.
Okay, and then that saves how much?
You're back to where you were originally.
Twice as much water. You actually get
much water in
the shower instead of a dribble.
Yeah. I've never understood those low flow shower heads. Who cares?
Well, look, here's the point. If they can come up with these things, there's some sort of a ratio of water pressure with air and velocity and things like that. There's some magic ratio where you can get under a shower with less water and feel like you're getting the same effect. If you can do that, that's fine. But I mean, I don't get in the shower just to feel the water flow over me. I'm in there for a purpose, to get rid of the soap. And I'm going to stay in the shower until the soap is gone.
You walk in the shower.
It doesn't matter how fast the water's flowing. I mean, keeping soap on is a problem. So
you should do it like they had at some campgrounds we went to when I was a kid. They actually had showers with quarter slots.
God.
You turn the dial and it let the water on for 3 minutes. And if you ran out of quarters, you were soapy.
John says low flow toilets, you need to flush 3 times. Well, yes and no. The first ones were horrible. That's where a lot of us turned against them. I put 2 of them in recently, the Toto brand low flow toilet, and I will have to tell you that I'm not unhappy with it. I don't know if I'm saving any water. I know that you press the handle and it'll do a quick flush, or you can hold the handle and it'll do a full flush.
I just put it in chat,
and it works so far. And is there less water? I know there is. Do you have to clean it more often? You do, but so what? I mean, you should do that.
The new generation of the 1.2 gallon, and they're actually putting them out there now with 1 gallon flush.
This one uses so much air to flush that it actually has a hole in the back of the tank to allow the air to come into the tank.
I just repaired one. Remember the one of the first low volume ones had its own little pressure tank inside the back. It was a whole mechanism where it would actually charge the tank with pressure based on water pressure, and it would flush really loud.
This one sort of does that, but I'm not sure how it works. I'm sure replacing that whole float assembly is not going to be cheap.
I just repaired one, and it wasn't bad. Well, $30.
Good to know.
It's a
Toto?
piston and a bunch of other parts that come in the repair kit.
Toto?
Well, it doesn't matter what the brand is. It's the internals are a specific company that make for different toilet manufacturers. It's not a Toto design. It's a I got the spec sheet here somewhere. I had to go to Ferguson. They didn't have it at local.
Did you ever get an account there?
Yes,
Good.
and it's doesn't help me. I don't buy enough stuff, unfortunately. But I
They
can't.
still ought to give you the trade cash price.
Yeah, they do. But even that, when I priced my hot water heater, I actually got a better deal at Home Depot than I could to get the same warranty at Ferguson. It was more, and it wasn't necessarily it was state brand,
Mm-hmm.
and their ratings have just gone downhill since they were acquired by whoever it is that acquired them.
Yeah. But
Ayo White.
but will they run the latest updates of Windows?
Stop.
Yeah. Oh, Amnon, you have to. These are all running on Windows CE. That makes them hardened because nobody knows it's out there.
Runs Vista.
Just like a lot of voting machines are running Windows CE.
Alan just said, and I probably shouldn't read this, but I am. What one needs is a constant vacuum so the malodor. What is that word? MALOD. Malodorous. Is that pronunciation? Breeze never leaves the toilet bowl. There is a solution to that problem, but I can't tell it here on the show. I'll tell you off.
Well, you got to get one of the zero gravity toilets, because that constantly applies a vacuum.
Whatever. There's actually another way to solve that. But.
Outhouse.
That's exciting.
919-518-9773.
Do not take another phone call,
voice.
seriously.
I'm not taking, no. Computers 2K voice on Skype, and you are listening to Around the House.
Yeah, I mean, none of us lives in houses, so why should we need to know how to do what to do to fix it?
Spence-
So let's
And
get back
nobody
to some.
around here uses a computer in a house, so
Let's get back to some tech news here. This story. Did anybody see this week with the Amazon Echo, where it recorded a family's conversation about hardwood floors and sent it to a random? It wasn't a random person. See, there's some fake news around this. So it was like, oh, Amazon Echo sent a conversation to a random
Right.
family.
No, it was a guy that was in the man's
Yes.
address list.
So what happened here is that the device, I said the name and now mine is going off. Maybe I'll send
Echo.
my information to Elon Musk. The Echo device they either said words. There was a TV on in the background with a commercial on that cued her to listen, and then it sent it to somebody in their contact list. I mean, I could do that. I could send Mike a voice message to his Echo right now. It wouldn't be complicated. This is kind of misleading on how this whole thing worked. It recorded a message based on a set of commands that it thought it heard. So that's
And the news story shows the lady with like 6 Echoes in a box. I'm getting rid of
Well,
these.
they actually, Amazon actually gave an explanation how it happened. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just like what you're saying, Nick. They
Yeah,
said
series of
that the Echo woke up due to a word in background conversation sounding like Alexa.
Yeah.
Then the subsequent conversation was heard as send message request, at which point Alexa said out loud, to whom? At which point the background conversation was interpreted as a name in the customer contact list. Then Alexa asked out loud, contact name. They mentioned the name, right? Then it interpreted background conversation as right. As unlikely as this string of event is, we are evaluating options to make this case even less likely.
I don't think it's that
So-
unlikely at all. I mean, if you're in a loud environment room with background noise, I totally could see this thing getting
Yeah.
confused,
So
especially if
if
it's some type
you're-
of common name.
If you're the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and you're sitting home one weekend and you got Alexa there and you're watching Crimson Tide, right? And the sudden combination of things launches a nuclear attack. I mean, what are we going to do? That's it.
I'll
don't
tell
know.
you what I would like to see in the Echo. In in any of the other ones. Instead of those stupid rings that turn around and around.
Yeah.
What's wrong with putting a what do you call them? Like the silent flash. The oh shoot, what do you call them? The lights that just flashes.
Strobe?
A strobe.
Yeah, but the problem you have here is clearly these people had their echo turned down, so you couldn't hear
I
the
understand,
commands.
but it at the same time it probably had the rings turning and you don't see it. Sometimes it's behind some. If there was a strobe and it'll be my option. Do I want the rings or do I want the strobe? If the strobe comes on, it's oh wait a second, Alexa's working. Now, if the strobe did not come on and this happened, then it was not an accident. It was planned somehow.
I mean, I
So-
still don't think that's all. Like, for example, my Echo device is covered up by something. I can't even see it.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing.
And I think a lot of people have it kind of behind on a shelf, behind
Yeah.
a TV or something like
Right.
that, or near something. I just this isn't as crazy as when I originally read the headline, which was Amazon sends voice recording to a
Right.
random person. I'm like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
happening. And then you read it, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I mean,
And the
I
other
guess.
thing, let's not forget, these things are in their infancy.
brand new.
There's so many things that can go wrong, and of course, so many things that they can abuse if they choose to. I kind of doubt that any of these companies that have those smart devices will actually abuse it. I doubt it because that will kill them.
Oh, they will.
It'll
abuse it.
come
They are
out
abusing
sooner
it.
or later. What?
Well, they're abusing it right now. I mean, Amazon is absolutely recording every conversation that you're having. There's no doubt in my mind.
The
Well,
Don't
you see,
forget
and
that
what
the
will
NS
happen? Go ahead.
One at a time,
Don't-
guys.
don't forget the NSA has the capability of listening to any conversation anywhere at any time.
That's a fact.
Can we get them to listen to
Whoa.
the show?
Oh yeah, they're hello NSA. Hi, we love you guys.
Well, there you never know what's true anymore. But there was a story of some guys were talking in front of an Echo, and one of them said, "Ah, you know that Echo? It's listening to everything you say." And then the Echo said, "I am not."
Yeah, that's good.
All right, Spence, you ready for specials?
I absolutely am.
Okay.
And today's specials are actually brought to you by Amnon's Bargain Town and Flea Market.
Ha ha ha.
It's held at a local drive-in theater, and everything is under $399.99 every day. What?
I just saw it.
Oh, you didn't see this yet?
No.
Come on. All right. Well, Computers Took It Now specials for May 27th, 2018. And we start with actually what I did today was I tried to go for the least expensive of each of these categories within reason. I mean, if there was when it comes to laptops and tablets, you could get some really, really cheap stuff. But looking at these ads, I think I had in only one case that I have to choose something that was a little more expensive than the lowest possible price. But keeping with Amnon's Bargain Town, we'll go forward. All right, laptops. Best Buy has an Acer 2-in-1 touchscreen Chromebook with an Intel processor for $249, save $30. Office Depot has a Dell 11.6-inch 2-in-1 laptop with an AMD A9 for $299, and that's $100 off the regular price. And Staples has a HP Pentium processor laptop. That's the Pentium 3000 series, which is an actual double core quad thread machine for $279, which is $140 off the regular price. Not bad deals today. Desktop all-in-ones, we've got at Best Buy an AMD A9 desktop from HP for $299.99, save $50. Office Max, Office Depot, and this is the most expensive item today. Dell desktop with Intel Core i3 for $399.99, which is $130 off. And Staples has an HP all-in-one desktop with the quad Intel Pentium for $329, which is $115 off. Tablets. Best Buy has a Lenovo Tab 4 10.1 inch 32 gig tablet for $149.99, which is 30 off. Office Depot has a New Vision kickstand 11-inch Wi-Fi tablet with detachable keyboard for $179. That's $120 off. And Staples has $50 off the iPad 9.7-inch 32 gig tablet. Networking. Best Buy has a Linksys AC 1200 dual band router for $79.99, save 10.
Comes bundled with malware.
Yeah, comes with Dancing Bear.
Yeah.
I don't know this. I haven't looked at the specific model number here, but I don't think it's one of the ones that was listed by Linksys.
Oh.
But who knows? Office Depot Office Max has a Chrome, Google Chromecast HDMI streaming device for $35. And Staples has Google Wi-Fi AC 1200 dual band whole house Wi-Fi system. This is a base station and 2 remotes for $279, which is $20 off. Storage. Best Buy has a 32 gig USB 3.0 flash drive for $999. That's $25 off. Office Depot has a Western Digital 4 terabyte external desktop USB 3.0 drive, 4 terabytes for $119.99. That's 30 off. Staples has a Seagate 1 terabyte US 3.0 portable backup drive for $59.99. That's 50 off. Accessories, Logitech surround sound system. This is surround 5.1, which means it's got the center speaker, right, left, back left, back right, and subwoofer for $49.99, save $20. This is Best Buy. Logitech MK270 at Office Depot, keyboard and mouse combo, wireless keyboard and mouse for $19.99, save 10. And the Logitech C922 Pro Stream webcam with little tripod at Staples for $79.99, which is $20 off the regular price. Monitors. We have at Best Buy a Dell 27-inch monitor for $139.99, save 50. Office Depot has a $99 Dell 22-inch monitor, which is 30 off. And Staples has a 21-inch HP monitor for $99, which is 50 off. Printers and scanners. Best Buy has a HP Envy 5055 all-in-one printer for $59.99, 40 off. And you really need to identify what your usage is going to be. I am not good with inkjet printers. I have laser printers, so my inkjet printers tend to sit there and dry out. And if all you have is an inkjet and you use it all the time, you'll probably be fine. But I let mine sit, so I no longer have any inkjet printers. I have my color laser for the occasions when I have to actually do a color print.
Right.
But carefully analyze. If this is your only printer and you'll use it, you'll probably be fine. You also might want to look at the ink cartridge technology, whether it's an onboard print head or the print head is remote from the ink tank. I tend to believe that the ink tank technology, if you don't use it much, is even worse, because if that print head dries out, it's not going to be fixable. You're going to have to toss it. So get something that's got replaceable print heads with the reversible ink cartridges with the print head built in.
Mm-hmm.
That way you can always pop a new one and it will work. Office Depot, Office Max, Canon, Pixma, MG 3620 for $49.99, 30 off. And if you're looking for an entry-level laser printer, this is the one that we recommend. It's the Brother HLL 2320D. This is a USB-connected printer, but it does do automatic duplex printing, single function, $59.99, $40 off the regular price. These are just really good home small business printers.
Mm-hmm.
Good duty cycles for something so inexpensive. Home automation and security. Best Buy had nothing in their regular ad, but they did have a sale on a security system. It's a two camera wireless system. It does support 4 channels, called the Defender Phoenix M2. It's an 8 gig DVR system. Does record on its own. It's got its own built-in monitor DVR combo. It's on sale for $192.99. And these are, if you have a limited requirement for video, these are indoor-outdoor wireless. Now, don't forget that you still have to apply power. These are not battery-powered like the Netgear Arlo, which we'll mention in a minute. So, but for an inexpensive way to get into having some video, if you want to put one on your front door and your back door, you do have a way to put power up to them. This could be very handy. Now here, I actually made a mistake here, and I apologize. This security device, which we've talked about before, is it's a intercept device for monitoring your home network. And I put up there the fact that if you buy it for $149, you get a 1-year free service subscription. I forgot to put the name up there. So if you look at the Office Depot ad today, you'll find that this is mentioned in their ad. I'll post it in the chat when I'm done. And finally, Staples has a Netgear Arlo 2-camera home security system for $199. That's 50 off. These are the battery-powered cameras. These do not do, with the battery power, they do not do continuous surveillance. They do on-demand motion detection. So depending on where you're going to put these, you don't want to put them in your yard where they're watching the leaves blow on the trees, because the batteries will not last. But if it's in your home and it's going to be used where you, on a schedule, you turn on the motion detector, the batteries could last quite a while. So, but this is a good system. I know several people who have this and who really like it. The mounts for these cameras are interesting. It's you put the mount bracket on the wall, and then it's a magnet that actually holds the camera to the mount. So they're repositionable, and you can pull them down easily to change the batteries. You don't want to put this up so high in your living room that you have to have a 12-foot step ladder to get to it. And finally, at Fry's, we've got some interesting devices out here. This one caught my eye. It's a Power Dash 7.8 amp USB-C car charger. Now, not just USB-C. It's got USB-C, which is 3 amps. It's got a 2.5 amp USB port and a quick charge 2.0 USB port for $12.99. It's $12 off the regular price. There's also a CyberPower 3.1 amp dual USB wall charger for just $5.99. Good brand. That's $4 off. And this is the season for lightning storms and power interruptions and so on. I like this CyberPower. It's a 6-outlet swivel wall tap with 2 USB ports for charging, and the two pivots come out, which hold 3 receptacles each. So it's a total of 6. What the swivel does is gives you a way to plug in behind cabinets and things with not straight-in cords. So it's convenience. It's $11.99, which is $10 off the regular price. A good deal on a CyberPower 650 VA surge protector / battery backup unit for $54, which is $10 off. And this came up. My wife just got a new car that has the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto features built in. So you can actually get this now as an aftermarket to put into your vehicle. The caveat is that you have to have a double DIN space to put this radio because of the touchscreen. The actual electronics, if you look at this from the side, you would see that it's a single DIN worth of electronics, but the actual touchscreen is a double DIN. So you would have to probably get an adapter, depending on the vehicle. Most newer vehicles are all pod-based, which it makes it really hard to put in an aftermarket radio. But if you're interested, the prices are coming down. You can get this very slick capability. You plug in the iPhone or Android phone, and after you go through a short learning process, it will give you certain icons on the screen, a touch screen, that will control your phone. So if you want to touch maps, it'll open the map app and it will show everything on the screen, while the phone is actually the GPS and map intelligence. It's placing it on the screen. The Apple version of the voice assistant is excellent. And I actually scared my wife yesterday. I sent a text message to her when she was in the cars when we were coming home from the dealership and said, "Hi, I'm Loretta. I'm your new phone or your new radio. I listen to and record everything that you say." And it was playing this to her in the voice that the phone that the radio comes with. So I got her good. It was fun. But what I like about this particular one, this JVC, is that it's rear view camera ready. So if you want to get a remote rear view camera, not all cars are going to work with this, but this is pretty slick. Rear view camera ready and a steering remote ready. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the standard is for that, but apparently it will work as a display for other sophisticated car features that you may have in your vehicle. So $259.99, and that's $140 off, and an additional 10 off with a promo code. And Amnon lunch this week is on me. We're going to go get combo meals at Fry's, either the peppered roast, the roast turkey, or the Black Forest ham sandwich.
No French fries.
Only $8.33. Make it a combo. You can add a 16-ounce soda and a bag of chips. Combo. That's a deal. The travel cost is going to be a little high, but I think the closest Fry's is one in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, and that's it for specials. Computer 2K Now specials for May 27th, 2018. Don't forget to visit Amnon's Bargain Town and Flea Market.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say hi to Dirty Boxers. Haven't seen him in here for ages. All right.
I heard he hates you. That's why he doesn't show up.
The what?
Yeah, I heard that Dirty Boxers hates you. That's why he doesn't show up anymore. That's what I heard. That's just what I heard.
That's what you heard.
I don't know. Just
Nick, do you use any of the Google storage, like the drives or whatever?
Yeah, I've actually been using it recently. It's I think on a non-Apple ecosystem, with me just having an iPhone, I found Google Drive to be the quickest, easiest way to send a file from my phone or my iPad to my computer per se, is just upload it to Google Drive. Before I switched this over to Office 365 for email, I use Google Drive for all of my file storage and stuff at work. So yes, what's going on?
So Google is rolling out new changes to its storage plans that include a new low-cost storage plan and half of the price of its 2 terabyte storage option. It's also converting all Google Drive paid storage plans to Google One, perhaps in part because you'll now have one-tap access to Google's live customer service. Google One will get a new $299 a month option that gets you 200 gigabyte of storage. The 2 terabyte plan, which usually costs $19.99 per month, will now cost $9.99 a month. And they are removing the 1 terabyte plan that was $9.99. The other plans, 10, 20, or 30 terabytes, won't see any changes. So get 2 terabyte for $10 a month. That is not bad at all.
No, and I think you get 100 gigs free or something like that with Google Drive. I've never paid for it, and I don't know anybody that has. I think it's rare that you've got I think it's rare that you've got 2 terabytes worth of files that you would want to have stored.
Sure.
When I think of 2 terabytes of files, I'm thinking of large files. Like, I'm not thinking 2 terabytes of Word documents. I'm thinking 2 terabytes of, uncompressed what is that?
Movies.
ProRes that you record in
Yeah.
as your backup. And you wouldn't want to store that stuff in the cloud anyway, because it would take so damn long to upload and specifically to upload.
That's true too.
You mean like the Iranian weapons program documents?
Yeah, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe I don't know. I don't think I mean, I've got 2 terabytes worth of files, but I don't have 2 terabytes worth of things I would store on the cloud. I mean, I've got all of the infection podcast files, but those are all on an external hard drive. I don't put those on the cloud. There's no reason to. They're too big. If I need to access them, I'd have to, plus they're on YouTube. So
Yep. There are uses for a cloud drive, but not as something that you
now maybe if you do maybe now I'll give you an example. My my boss Mike, the photographer, when I was in New York, that may be something for him. But I don't think you'd want to do that with movies or videos, rather, not movies, but videos. Seems like it would be a lot of work.
Well,
but who knows? I could be wrong.
Yep.
Been wrong before.
What?
I said I've been wrong before.
And listen to this. Comcast is reportedly preparing to offer to buy a major portion of 21st Century Fox, which would give it majority control of Hulu and other media properties. The giant is getting bigger. It's just amazing that we didn't hear anything bad about Comcast customer service lately. I remember there was like a whole barrage of bad stuff. I'm wondering if they're getting any better on that.
Oh, I've got a Comcast story today. Comcast was leaking the names and passwords of customers' wireless routers over clear text if you were connecting to the router. If you could get to the router to prompt it for security code, there was a possibility that it would send the password in clear text.
No,
they didn't mean it.
Oh no! I mean, no, Xfinity would never. Let me get some details. Comcast has just been caught in a major security snafu, revealing the passwords of customers' Xfinity-provided routers in plain text. Oh, actually, they were storing these on the web. Anyone with a subscriber's account number and street address will be served the Wi-Fi's name and password via the company's Xfinity Internet Activation Service. I mean, how freaking stupid are these people?
well,
There was a problem was threefold. You could activate an account that was already active, so they weren't checking the variable. The data required is to do is so minimal and is not verified via text or email, and the wireless name and password are sent on web in plain text. Meaning that anyone with your account number and street address, no street name or city or apartment needed, just the street address.
it's social security number.
Yeah, if you found that on your paper bill, you could log in and you could monitor traffic, do a whole bunch of stuff. So now they're not under, I mean, just typical Comcast.
Here's another little problem with the router. Security researchers have found a backdoor count in the firmware of dLink DIR620 routers that allows hackers to take over any device reachable via the internet. This was discovered by Kaspersky Lab researchers. This backdoor grants an attacker access to the device web panel, and there's no way in which device owners can disable this secret account. It's in the firmware. The only way to protect devices from getting hacked is to avoid having the router expose its admin panel on the WAN interface and hence reachable from anywhere on the internet. You can set up your router so you can manage it from the internet. I don't know why anybody would want that anyway. But if you do, then I hope that dLink has an update. But if you have a dLink DIR-620, you need to worry about it.
I don't understand how this stuff happens.
Now, talking about customer service, and this affects everybody. Amazon, which for years has maintained the standard for free returns online, might now ban users for making too many returns. And this is from the Wall Street Journal on Tuesday. The documented complaints that the e-commerce giant has barred customers who had returned items. Amazon apparently failed to alert the customers that they had returned too many items before the bans. The Wall Street Journal spoke with 2 people and cited dozens more online who said they had been barred from Amazon, as well as others who received emails from the company after returning some items. The 2 people who spoke with the journal seemed to be part of a wave of hundreds of people who were barred from Amazon in late March and early April, as previously reported by Business Insider. This is not something that is unusual. I went shooting with John Friday, and he was telling me that over here, Mike, at Steinmart in Crossroads, they are not accepting certain returns anymore. They told customers no more returns. What was the other company that
What is Steinmart?
Steinmart is a clothing store.
Never heard of it. I mean, I've seen the sign, but I've never been in one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Amazon's doing a hell of a job of getting people to stop using their service, jacking up the price of Prime, now telling you that if you return too many things, you're going to get banned. I mean, screw them. They could have destroyed big box stores. And you can make the argument that they have to some extent, but they are rapidly making themselves an unwanted service to use. I don't use Amazon anymore unless I literally have to, which I haven't had to do in quite some time.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know who's making these decisions over there. And I mean, I'm sure there are some people who will abuse returns.
Of course. But I mean, it's not a company-wide policy. If one person steals gasoline from a gas station, you don't put an attendant at every single gas pump.
Yeah. I'm telling you though, guys, the returns at these stores are serious. I mean, somebody told me that 1 in 3 items purchased at Lowe's is returned.
At Lowe's, the home improvement store?
Correct.
Okay. Why the return? Because people are using them?
Well, the good explanation is that you're going to the store, you need a certain screw, so you're not sure which size it is. You buy 4 and return 3 of them.
Yeah.
And they're okay with that as long as there are two sides. And I'm no fan of Lowe's, but there are 2 sides to that. One is that they sort of encourage you to do that to save you time because it doesn't cost them anything if you return it in sellable condition. But sometimes those packagings are a little damaged. And when you go in to buy something, if you're going to support their return policy, you don't need to get all pissed off whenever there's a little wrinkle in the package because somebody bought it and returned it, even though it's unopened.
Right.
I do that because I have to buy stuff anticipating repairs. So I do return maybe 10% of the stuff I buy at Lowe's.
Well, let me also tell you one thing that I did a week or so ago that it just should have occurred to me, but it did not. I wanted to go over to Lowe's. There was something I wanted to buy. I don't remember what it was. Oh, yes, I do. Towel racks. I was adding 2 towel racks in a bathroom. I looked on Lowe's, found the ones that I liked, the name brand Moen or whatever they were. They were $39, $41 a piece, I think it was. I don't remember exactly the price. I get over there out of curiosity. I scanned the barcode with my Amazon app. They were $32 on Amazon.
Mhm.
I take them to the counter, show them the Amazon listing. They sold them to me for $32, and I walked out the door with them.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that in most cases, a company will actually do better accepting those returns and taking maybe a hit on a couple of them in order to keep good reputation.
But that's one of the reasons I don't buy much from Intrex, because they get all pissed off about returns. They want to charge you a restocking fee. I've literally purchased an item at Intrex, walked out to the car, realized it was the wrong one,
Yeah.
walked back in the store, and they wanted to charge me a 15% restocking fee.
And think about this restocking fee. Think about what it's, I mean, we say that it's no big deal if Lowe's can resell it. Lowe's probably has to spend a lot more time to get a package, a product that you returned, and put it back on the shelf, because it's all paperwork and this and that and the other, and they don't charge you. Here is a company, local company, that all they have to do is just go and put it back on the shelf and take it out of the paper, their accounting, which they already did when they gave you the refund. What? You see, that really makes no sense.
Intrex is our local computer store.
I wish there was a local computer store down here. I mean, I've been wondering this, Mike. Now that Radio Shack is out of business, where is somebody like you and I? Well, not you, because you have a Radio Shack in your house. But somebody like myself, without driving to your house to shop at Radio Shack, what? I mean, what if I need to get something tomorrow? Where do I get it?
Amazon.
No, Amazon same day is not available down here. It's 2-day.
Well,
I mean, is there seriously a business opportunity for a small store that sells?
I guarantee you there are tons of it, several of them in Wilmington, little guys with one shop in the back room of somebody else's store in a shopping center. You just have to find them.
Well, I mean, if you can think of any place to look for that stuff, I've done all I can find is small computer shops, and I've called them, and they've got computer parts, but it's not.
Best Buy is Best Buy. Actually, some of the stuff you can get at Staples and Office Depot.
You can. I'm talking like, what if a capacitor?
Oh, you're out of luck. You better find somebody who has one.
Right?
Because
I mean,
now with everything being surface mount, there's just not a whole lot of people doing electronic stuff at home, based on what I'm seeing, because it's even hard to find a good supply of axial electrolytics if you want to make something where the board is real low profile and so forth. I mean, it's a problem. That's why I own everything. I've got thousands of dollars worth of parts here.
You just go to Radio Row in downtown Manhattan. Oh,
well,
wait, that's been gone for 40 years.
I guess I need to find and ask the local ham guys if they get their stuff local, because those are the people that would be buying little doodads like that at random times. But I would assume most of those guys probably buy that stuff online too. Micro Center, I don't think there's a Micro Center here. I could be wrong. I don't know.
No fries.
No, there's nothing. I mean, Best Buy, and Best Buy does sell some techier things, but for example, the other day, Mike and I were talking a couple weeks ago about something, and I was like, oh, if I could only go out, and I don't remember what we were talking about, buying an audio I don't remember what it was. It was either an XLR connector or a 1/4-inch connector, just the raw connector that I could solder a cable into. And it was like, where would I go to buy this?
But those are available in Wilmington. But the guy that's selling it, what is it?
The
Music
Underground? The Music Loft. Yeah, I don't like that guy.
Four times retail.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's not. I mean, I'd rather just cut a cable and tape it, electrical tape the wires together at that cost.
You just have to be a Boy Scout and be prepared.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's interesting.
When I built the radio station in Wilmington, I ordered almost nothing. I had everything in stock.
Yeah, but the question is for some, and I think this is what the ham radio community is talking about. There's no Sam Ash in Wilmington, unfortunately. DigiKey is a great option as well, but now you're talking about shipping time. The ham radio community specifically, Mike, and you'll realize this as well as you get more and more into it. They're hurting for younger members.
Who is?
The amateur radio community?
Of course.
And the biggest problem is if you want to get into this stuff, yes, there's a way to do it, but you can't get any of the damn parts anywhere. I mean, you have to wait for a ham fest to get a PL 259 barrel connector. You can't buy that anywhere. And you can go on Amazon, but they're $8 a piece. Or you can get them for 75 cents at a ham fest. And of course, there's no ham fest in Wilmington. So it's like, where the hell do I get anything that I need? It's, order it online or have to make a drive up to Mike or Amnon's to get some equipment.
I would say that, Nick, you asked a question. Is there an opportunity here?
Yeah.
When's the last time you were at Radio Shack?
Right before it closed down here in Wilmington.
Okay, and you needed to buy a capacitor.
No, I actually was buying I was buying an antenna converter for a stereo.
Yeah, okay, that's a little bit different. We're talking about the little bitty things.
I've got it. Yes,
you would go to the back.
Yep.
And there were a bunch of drawers. Yeah, and why can't these companies that sell this put it at Best Buy?
Well, that's what I'm maybe wondering. Is there a solution? You go into a you've got the AT&T kiosk in Best Buy or the Apple kiosk in Staples. Is there not a business opportunity for for not even necessarily capacitors but maybe LEDs and stuff. Everybody's playing around with these Arduinos and stuff like that. Everybody is.
If you wanted to set up an Arduino kiosk thing, you might want to do that. But as soon as you're 5 cents higher than eBay, somebody's going to say, I'm not going to buy it here. I can get it a nickel cheaper on eBay.
Well, that's fine. I think a 5 cent threshold you may be able to get away with. I really do.
Because look, if you need a resistor or a capacitor or a crystal or an LED, and you need it for a project and you're working on it right now,
that's what I'm saying.
Would think that I would even pay $1 more instead of waiting 2-3 days because I need it now.
And I think it depends on how. If I could get an XLR connector on eBay, how much do those cost, Mike? How much is an XLR connector online?
Anywhere from $2 to $4.
Okay, if I can get it online for $2 or buy it in store for $3 or $3.50, I'd probably buy it in the store because it's
most people won't.
I don't know. I think it depends on the situation.
I buy 20 at a time.
But you're not buying it necessarily to use right now. You're buying it to store. In my situation, in most of the case, I buy stuff when I need it because I don't have the storage for it, and I don't have the means to purchase it at. I don't have the means to just purchase it for, stuff. And I'm using the XLR as an example. I could get that locally, but yeah, it's. I wonder if there is I like Amnon's idea of just, a couple shelves, a couple cabinets in a Best Buy that's just roll stuff out.
And I used to be in the business and we never sold any of the components. And this was years ago when it was a hot thing, but we just never sold. We used to own a Radio Shack store.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Tim's saying that people, after the Radio Shack went out of business, businesses did not see this as money. Think about it. If there are a couple of cabinets at Best Buy, this will bring them in a few people a week. Will bring them into the store, put them all the way in the back of the store. People have to walk all through the store, and they probably will buy something else too.
Well, maybe the solution is not a Best Buy, but get into the local mom and pop music shops, smaller stores.
Yeah.
There was a store I remember. I'm like, I don't remember the name of it, but there was a store in Albany that I found. I think I took some pictures of it when I went in there. It was like a grave of electronic parts of the past. But the store was open for 60 years, and they had and they literally had pieces of equipment that were 60 years old inside the store. And I don't think you want something that grand of scale because I don't think it's necessary.
They can even put it in hobby stores.
Hobby Lobby. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you do something like that. Yeah,
I'm not investing.
Mike's Closet is a great solution, but it's a 2-hour drive. And if I need it in the middle of the week, you're talking 5 to 6 hours round trip total. I mean, it's a full day
Yeah,
worth
you
of
could
work
do
that
it.
I'm
That's
missing.
right.
Maybe I could just get Mike to drive down here. That's probably a better solution. What do you think, Mike?
Ain't happening.
So who used Stumble Upon?
Oh, I used to use it all the time.
Hang on a second. Wait
Oh,
a minute. I want
sorry.
to come. I'm not done yet. Keep your
Okay.
britches on. For a
Keep
second.
going.
All right. So Nick, I'm posting a link in chat.
Yes, sir.
And let's assume that I said, you know what, Nick, you got a great idea. Let's set up a kiosk at the local Best Buy store. And one of the most popular components you will ever find is a carbon film resistor. So why don't you go through this list at DigiKey and order the ones we need?
I understand that there's a whole bunch of variety in those, but same
There
way
are
with
500 versions of 1K resistor.
I've got you. I understand.
1%, 5%, 10%. There's quarter watt, half watt, 8th watt, 16th watt.
I got you. I got you. But
Which one are you going to stock?
I got that. But Radio Shack clearly found out what was the important stuff to stock and what was not the important stuff.
I think they found out that it was a losing proposition. Where are they now?
Well, but their whole store was a losing problem. It's because they sold nothing else useful. They sold freaking drones and cell phones. I mean, that's why they went out of business. They weren't selling anything useful. But I understand you're not going to find everything at this store. But I mean, where if I needed to buy a single LED in this town today, well, okay, Tuesday when everything is open, I don't think I'd be able to buy one anywhere. A single LED.
Right,
Where the hell would I buy an LED?
Let me ask you the question.
Yeah.
So knowing that there are 500 T1 3/4 LEDs that would probably fit in your application because they vary by color, they vary by size, lead spacing, intensity, bidirectional, unidirectional. I mean, all these variations. Knowing that if you can go on DigiKey and find exactly the one that you want that'll look like it came, if you figure it out what the details are. Tell me what it is that you need an LED for today that can't wait 2 days.
I have no idea. I can't. No, I mean, okay. LED is probably a bad example, but
no, it's as good as anything. I mean, if it's an indicator that has to do with a critical piece of equipment,
yeah, okay, there you go.
To press the go button unless the LED is lit. But most people who are qualified to do that could also come up with a temporary solution. I mean, I could wire one in with a transistor, a light bulb, and a resistor.
Okay, great example. So ask me to do that. I don't have the transistor, the light bulb. I have the light bulb. I don't have the resistor or the transistor. Can't get those same day either.
But my point is, but that stuff you could go to actually that's not true. You can actually go to a
home improvement store.
Well, you could go to believe it or not, some really good components are available at the auto supply stores.
I didn't think about the auto supply stores.
Well, they've got some really good connect switches over there. They've got some really good connectors. But what's most interesting, even Horror Freight has some really interesting trailer lights that are LED. And I'll show you. I got one over here.
Yeah, and Arnie is saying become a member of your local ham club. There is a local ham group down here. They meet pretty infrequently, and they don't have a freaking email list, so there's no way to even get in touch with anybody. TV shops. I don't know if those exist anymore.
There are TV repair shops.
Okay, well maybe I need
here
to be
and there,
looking
and
for
many
those.
of them work actually for warranties, but it doesn't matter. They do exist.
I think the point here is there's a couple of small computer shops, small computer shops. Why would a store like that not find how could you not get a cabinet of some sort into a store like that? They're paying for the retail space. It's already a nerd store. I mean, nobody's going into the store to get nobody's custom building computers.
Startup time and cost would be, before you actually got a return on it, what you'd have to invest to do it.
It doesn't matter, Spence, if that company that provides these components, they have cabinets with the little drawers in them and everything. They have
I know. I'm saying that's who has
all they
the
have
cost.
to do.
I'm not talking about the little shop.
All they have to do is
That's
just put it
risk
at the shop,
not knowing if you're going to make any money off it.
Well, you're not making any money as is. So there's always potential.
So anyway, here's an LED light from Harbor Freight. Now
Is
you
there
say, what good is it? Well, I will tell you what good it is. I could, if I had a problem and I needed an LED and didn't have one, I could wire this up as an indicator for that LED until I can get the right one.
Oh, I wonder if there's a Harbor Freight down, because I know they sell a whole bunch of stuff like that.
Oh, they've got this at AutoZone.
Oh, okay. Not Harbor Freight.
Now, what I would recommend.
These are all LEDs that you buy in order to put on trailers.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
every auto store has them.
And what I would suggest, and I do recommend it, and I learned it myself, but I do recommend it that next time you're bored and you go near an AutoZone or whatever, Advanced Auto Parts, whatever they are, walk in and look around in the electrical section. You will be surprised what they carry. Now, I will also tell you that, for example, you remember when I first installed the barracks switch in Raleigh?
Yeah. Yes. Your crystal timer.
That switch, no,
Oh.
before that, when it was all
yes.
manual, the
Mhm.
lighted switch,
Yes.
that came from AutoZone.
No shit.
I couldn't find my switches here because of the move. So I bought that from AutoZone and it failed. I had to go down there and replace the switch because it was a piece of crap switch. I paid $5 for the switch at AutoZone.
Yeah.
I found exactly the same switch on eBay for 39 cents. So there is that, but if you need it, you need it.
Yeah, and I think that's more. And I think, Mike, your skill set of not even necessarily your skill set and your interest in electronics is something that I think is going to be lost in some respect, because the parts are just not available. Like I'm sure when you were when did you move to Raleigh? The 25?
87.
Okay. Well, however old you were at that point, I'm sure there were stores in Raleigh where you could go and buy stuff like that.
Oh, you used to have Southeastern Electronics, where they supplied electronics parts to manufacturing facilities all over the state.
I mean, you walk in the door with $5 and you leave with a truckload of components.
No,
I mean,
it's still stuff's expensive. They sold mostly good quality stuff. It was fantastic. I mean,
Southeastern was something.
They'd let me go back into the shelves and pick up some stuff. I actually, strangely enough, long after they went out of business, I was going through some stuff that I had bought there, and I found a pack of resistors that somehow I had not paid for. So I shoplifted a pack of resistors, and I felt bad about it. But what are you going to do? They're long gone. They didn't go out of business because they lost a pack of resistors.
it's just frustrating that as a young person that is, I'm not incredibly interested in electronics and all that stuff.
That's because you don't know what you don't know.
Well, and that's, I think, part of the problem is how do you know what not everybody has got, not everybody, and here you go, Mike, not everybody can call Mike Phillips their friend and be able to call you on a whim and ask you through how you would do this or how would you do that. How does somebody that doesn't have somebody that's interested like you are or has the knowledge that you have get into this stuff? It's not available to.
Okay, I've got a friend who's got a serious problem with a WordPress website. Who do I call? Nick.
Oh, I got that, but that stuff's not you're not gonna go to the local WordPress store in town and get that.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that has now become an equivalent problem, an equivalent first world problem.
Yeah. Oh, these are absolutely
where the source is.
Yeah.
That's just, and to me, whenever Capital went out, just like Gary's talking about, when Capital Electronics, they were the last one to go. When they went out, it was painful. But you know what? There just wasn't a lot of demand for radio tuner cord, which they sold.
All right.
There is a local there's a local Arduino group that meets like every other month or whatever, and I'm scheduled to go to their next meetup. So I haven't been to one of them yet because I didn't know it existed. And I'll give a quick plug to meetup.com again. If you got some free time and you're looking for different clubs or groups in your area that meet up, there's a local Arduino meetup. I think it's called the Raspberry Pi Arduino group. So maybe I need to go there and see where these guys are. I would assume they're all buying them online.
They're all buying online, and the stuff now, Nick, is so cheap. I mean, even when you're talking about Arduino, I'm happy to hear that you're interested in it, because if you ever get the bug, it's a game changer. But having said that, you wouldn't pay much attention from it. pay much attention to it, but I would say, wow, look at this new blank that I just got. In fact, there's probably one sitting on my desk somewhere that is, in one case,
you may not see it because it's blank.
But while Mike's looking for that, but I think the problem is if Mike, if you say I quote unquote got the bug, if I'm sitting here right now, it's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday, Memorial Day. I am super interested in this Arduino project. It's not Wednesday or Thursday before I have the part. I'm not even interested anymore.
Well, that's a personal problem.
But I think that's a generational thing with people.
I understand, and I agree with you, and it's a personal problem. I can't help you with that. Because what has happened is we have turned, and I'm not being critical, Nick, and I'm not being.
Of course not. I got you.
No, I'm serious. But this is a problem that back in the old days, I mean, you've heard us say this time and time and time again, but back in the old days when we needed parts like that, which was anything beyond the most generic part available at the local store, we would have to go get a catalog, flip through the catalog, call them up and order them, and they would ship it within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's just the cost of doing business. In the radio station, the transmitter goes off the air. You open the back door, you see this smell, and you see this inductor that has burned up. Well, guess what? Now you've got to pay overnight freight to get it here at a premium cost. It's $1,000 to get a $50 part. It's cost of doing business anymore. So the fact that you're going to lose interest in something, which won't happen between Sunday and Wednesday or Thursday, I mean, that's just something you got to work around, because you got to make a lot of decisions in life. And if you want to go through life being mediocre, that's easy to do. If you want to be different and better, and you talk about not everybody can call Mike Phillips. Well, I think like everybody does the way things go around here. But the fact of the matter is there is somebody down there who could help you in an emergency. You could always call Paul.
Paul, no, absolutely. I've got his information, and I called him last week. I had a question about something. We had an EAS question that I needed him to answer, and there is people available. And if I needed a part, I'm sure in a pinch, he probably is the guy that has it,
or knows where to get it,
I just think, and Tim is saying, "Yep, it's the I want it now problem." And I have that too, and
we all do.
It's an entitled.
We're sitting here arguing over Amazon Prime because we want to get it a day earlier for 120 friggin' bucks a year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I say I'm not being critical. I've got the same bug. I want it now. I will sit here. I keep a list of items that I want to order from Amazon that have same day delivery, because if an item that I want, that I need, or really think I need same day pops up, and if it's not $35, I can grab one of these other items that I want to throw in there to get it to $35.
Mm.
And that way I'm not wasting money because I'm going to buy it anyway. I'm just going to go ahead and buy it now to get it up to $35.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So that's got to have it now. I mean, that's great, because why do I have to have it now? Well, I'm off today and tomorrow. I have
exactly.
projects I'm working on. I needed to get some parts to finish something that I forgot about. Now, it was my fault that I forgot about it. I should have planned ahead. But let's suppose that I'm not able to get it the same day or overnight or something like that. Well, it's just not that hard to say, okay, I was going to put these shelves up, but that's going to have to wait. Instead, I'm going to go pack these boxes. Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Can we switch?
Yeah.
All right, let's go a little bit a completely different direction.
Well, I'm not sure what Alan's asking about USS Pi Electronics.
I don't know that he's asking. He's probably saying that somebody's telling him. Alan is saying to USS Rover, Pi Electronics. That's a reply. Anyway.
He's asking if that's what.
So, Elon Musk.
You're distorting.
I am.
Make sure that it sounds like it's distorting on the mixer instead of the aux send. So keep an eye on your your levels on the mixer.
It looks fine.
Okay, go ahead.
Elon Musk took to Twitter today, that was last week, to announce his next project. A site called Pravda that ranks journalists' credibility and fights fake news. Going to create a site where the public can rate the core truth of any article and track the credibility score over time of each journalist, editor, and publication, he said in a tweet, thinking of calling it Pravda. Pravda is a Russian news agency.
Yep.
He continued to say, even if some of the public doesn't care about the credibility score, the journalists, editors, and publications will. It is how they define themselves. A subsequent Twitter poll, exposed to mostly Musk followers, revealed that most people believe this would be a good, accredited journalist. This will be good. Accredited journalist Mark Harris replied to the Tesla and SpaceX CEO with a copy of a statement and designation by foreign corporation form that names the Pravda Corp. He is not kidding, folks, he tweeted. I noticed that one of Musk's agents had incorporated Pravda Corp in California back in October last year. I was wondering what was it all about. This is a great idea.
He's such a scumbag.
But it's a great idea.
Bad choice of a title.
Yeah,
Name
awful
of it.
choice of a title.
Yeah.
It's literally a Russian propaganda arm. Literally, like you talk about.
He's using his money to take. He's not happy with the press he's getting, so that's why he's doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, you think so?
Trump's dangerous to democracy. I'm gonna start a bogus news outlet and rate journalists. I mean, give me a
Hillary
break.
wants to be the head CEO of Facebook.
That'd be
She actually
great.
said it.
Well, all right. I was
He's a
thinking
scumbag. Yeah, I don't like him at all.
there's something, Mike, here. This is something that I want you also to comment on as an attorney. U.S. District Judge Buchwald issued a 75-page ruling today, last week it was, clearly articulating why Donald Trump cannot block Twitter users, as it violates their First Amendment rights. Turning to the merits of plaintiff First Amendment claim, we hold that the speech in which they seek to engage is protected by the First Amendment, and that the president and Scavino exert governmental control over certain aspects of the real Donald Trump account, including the interactive space of the tweets sent from the account. That interactive space is susceptible to analysis under the Supreme Court's forum doctrine and is properly characterized as a designated public forum. The viewpoint-based exclusion on the individual plaintiff from that designated public forum is prescribed by, this is legal mumbo-jumbo, prescribed by the First Amendment and cannot be justified by the president's personal First Amendment interest. I mean, I cannot block somebody on my Twitter account if I wanted to.
You can.
Well, that's kind of the argument. That
So what is
people are
this
making.
75-page ruling from a federal?
Well, let's start. First thing, you're asking me to comment on a 75-page ruling I haven't read on the case.
Yeah, right. No. I mean, in general.
In general, the First Amendment is only valid against the government. People screw that up all the time. YouTube is blocking my First Amendment rights by killing my video. No, YouTube has no First Amendment obligation. But if the government tells YouTube to block your video, that's government action that is prohibited by the First Amendment.
Okay. Good.
Well, I think the reason people are a little frustrated with this is, and I don't know if this is the court or the judge's lack of knowledge on how Twitter works, but Trump blocking somebody on Twitter does not block them from Twitter. When you block it, when you create a block on Twitter, you are blocking that person from your timeline. You are blocking them from tweeting at you. So it's not like he's blocking them from using Twitter as a whole. Now, obviously, he is the president of the United States, but I think that's part of the frustration with some people in this ruling as well.
But it's actually an interesting question. If they're saying that he cannot legally block someone on his Twitter account, then believe it or not, there's actually some sort of disjointed argument that could be made saying that as a government actor, he is prohibiting people from having free speech.
Well, and I guess the question would be, I guess, I don't know how free speech works in the respect of he's not stopping you from tweeting, he's stopping himself from seeing it. And I guess that's kind of
But he's stopping you from showing up in his timeline as well.
correct.
That's the problem. Not him seeing it.
I thought that there's another word for that.
No, that's a block when you block.
It's called
somebody.
moderation.
Yeah, but
That's right.
government doesn't moderate.
And that'd be an argument that in a forum that a government actor could not block your post for moderation under this same line of thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting question.
Absolutely, it is.
Question. but the problem is these wackos need to be careful because the door swings both ways. Once they're back in power, then we're going to assert the same bull crap that they're doing against us. Guaranteed.
They'll forget all about it and scream bloody murder.
Of course, they're doing that now.
The only thing that I can see here in that article is here is a federal judge legitimizes the claim that this is how I communicate with the people, and it is a legal way of doing it, and it's the right way of doing it. And now they're trying.
Yeah, that's a very interesting argument.
There are ways around it.
I'm sure. And I don't think he'll fight it. I mean, I don't think he particularly cares.
But Alan says Donald Trump is just as human as you and I are, and he's exercising personal choice on his feet. Unfortunately, he doesn't get that level of freedom because he is a government actor. Now, as to whether Twitter is going to rise to the level of a forum under which that would be considered censorship, that's going to be interesting because I think where he will lose, and gosh, I really hated common law in law school. It was terrible. I had a terrible professor. But the point being that under the First Amendment, let's say Nick is going to go out and protest in front of Best Buy that they don't have resistors and capacitors. The government, the police come by and say, Nick, you can't protest over here. You've got to protest 6 feet over because you're on private property. Well, no, First Amendment says I've got the right to protest. Well, you do have the right under the First Amendment. The thing is, you don't have an unequivocal right. As long as there is a reasonable alternative forum for you to do it, then that blocking under the First Amendment is acceptable. It's reasonable. That's the same limitation that you do not have a First Amendment right to yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the classic example. And so if you could stand over and say, everybody walking into the Best Buy store will still be able to see your sign. That's a reasonable alternative forum. Therefore, your lawsuit for your First Amendment rights is going to fail. And that's probably what the argument is that will be here. But I hate, guys, we talk politics here, and we know we got some liberals in the audience, and we want you to be here. We're glad for you to be here. You're free to disagree with us. We probably won't be that rude to you. But having said that, these things that are being flaunted, be careful because they're going to turn around. They're going to. We had, whenever Obama started legislating by executive order, I thought that was one of the worst things that could happen to this country. It really turns this country into somewhat of a dictatorship. And I'm sure I said it to Nick at the time. I said, Nick, you're going to see in your lifetime, starting now, a new way of being president. We have now thrown out the traditions of using limited executive orders and not trying to really rewrite legislation with executive orders. That has now changed under Obama. The sad part is not just what Obama's doing, but is that he is setting precedents for future presidents to do the same thing because it turned out to be quite effective in asserting your agenda. Now, Trump is doing it, the exact same thing, and the liberals are screaming bloody murder. This is not right. This is not fair. He's a dictator. He should be impeached, blah, 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 blah. Guess where he got permission to do it? That you got to be careful. Actions have consequences.
Yep.
And don't forget what Nancy Pelosi said this week. It was very important.
Yes. What
She
was
said the
that?
Constitution does not say that a person can yell wolf in a crowded theater.
She did not say that.
I got a quote here in an article, National Review Online. She was talking about some First Amendment National Park Service permit thing, demonstration, where people were demonstrating against the way national parks were being used. You can watch the full. You actually can watch the interview. It's been saved.
Good Lord.
Well, at least we're not worried about everybody on Guam standing on one shore and the
Yeah.
island tipping over.
Capsizing the island. Oh my God! I the other day somebody was sending me something about Trump, and I was looking for that specific quote to send back to him. I never did actually send it back.
Who was it? John, what's his name from Atlanta? John.
I know who you mean, but I can't think. I could find it.
John Conyers?
No, I don't think so.
Oh no.
What was his name? Guam tipping over. There's the videos on
Who
YouTube.
was the one who was watching the mission to Mars landing? Was at NASA and said, "Are we going to see the place where the astronauts put the flag?" It was one. It was a congressman.
Shocker.
Yeah, another
No.
bright person.
All right.
Or as Maxine Waters says, dossier.
Yes.
There's no real conflict.
Oh, well.
Okay.
I
It's
have a
that
question.
time
Wait
of
a
day.
minute. Wait.
Oh, you have a
Oh, I
question.
forgot about it. Has anybody here ever used an ultrasonic cleaner?
My mother had one for jewelry, but I don't know. Never used it.
How did it work?
It cleaned her jewelry.
Did it work?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
does.
bought one. It seems a little weak to me. I'm not sure how good or bad it is. I like fountain pens. I had this one that the tip got clogged on. I ran it through there, cycled it 2 or 3 times. It didn't do any good on maximum. I've let it soak for 2 days and run it about 10 more times. I'm just wondering if there is an point of overdoing it.
My dentist actually has an ultrasonic cleaner. If you have a mouth guard or something, you can bring it in when you have your checkup, and he'll clean it for you with the ultrasonic cleaner.
Well, this thing was only $39.
Is this the tub type, Mike?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll see how it goes. We put her jewelry in it, and it did clean it up. It shined it up really well. We also put our glasses in it because if you get too gross, but there's probably all sorts of grime and grit in your glasses that you don't get just by washing it with liquid detergent or whatever you use. So we threw those in there, and it looked like it really cleaned up the nose pieces in areas you can't reach. But it's not as aggressive as I thought it might be. I'm sure it's just a low wattage unit, but it does heat the water.
I was just going to say, try hot water, really hot water.
Well, it heats the water. I mean, it puts the energy into the water.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. Now you can go.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, one more thing.
Okay.
Come on. Nick, you're talking your frustration about not being able to buy electronic components, and Spence, you'll appreciate this. You see this?
Yes, that's a flathead drill bit.
It is a 1-inch screwdriver bit.
Yeah.
All right. These things are sized in several ways. With Phillips heads, they're number 1, they're number 0, number 1, number 2. These don't seem to be sized the same. They're not quite as standardized as you would think. Most of these that you see are for a number 8 to 10 screw. The problem with the standard size is they will not fit the screws, for example, on a light switch cover. If you want to use one of these to screw it in, the slot, the blade won't fit into the slot. The blade is too big. I looked around to find what I originally thought were number 1 sized, but they don't size them that way, apparently. This one is called a number 6-8. It'll actually work for a number 6 to a number 8 screw. The screws in the light switch covers are number 6. Guess what? I have been to 3 different stores, and they don't even sell the slotted screwdriver bits.
This one is here. This is old.
Yeah.
But this is a Snap-on. It was made for IBM, and these were little magnetic screwdriver kits that they used to give us when we were servicemen. And here is a small small blade screwdriver bit.
What size do you need?
I actually have that exact thing. Yeah, in my garage.
What's the smallest one? What size is? How is the smallest one labeled?
1/4.
What is it?
No, I'm sorry. 1/8 is the smallest in here.
All right. Now, having said that, now that you know what I'm talking about, go to the store and find me a pack of even 3.
I know where to get I know where to get one of these, which is a whole bunch of.
I don't want to buy the whole kit.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to pay $10 for a 50-cent bit.
Yeah, that I don't know.
So anyway, what I do, I had to order them online.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this you can do because you don't need it right there and then. You can use just a regular screwdriver.
Well, I'm telling you, it's a first world problem. You can use a darn screwdriver.
Yeah.
I've got tons of screwdrivers that'll fit it, but when I'm going to be doing it, no, I don't want an Exolite red. Those are too small.
If I run into a problem with the screws on a faceplate, I just use a chisel and chisel them off.
There you go.
Yeah.
But you get a small, these flat blade screwdrivers, you get them they've got tons of those, but I'm just challenging you guys, all of you in chat. If you go to Home Depot or if you go to Lowe's, any of the standard stores, I mean, Fry's probably has it. Yeah, but we don't have those here. You go and look on the shelf and find me a flat blade, single flat blade tip. You can find every sort of Torx, every sort of Phillips, everything else you want. But you go try to find a slotted screwdriver bit.
Heard it here first.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right.
Anything else?
Yes, sir.
Negative.
All right, guys. Well, thanks, everybody. Mike, Spence, Nick, everybody in the chat. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget, tonight at 7, Nick is hosting Against the Norm on Wilmington's Big Talker 106.7 FM, and you can always listen to it on TuneIn. See you next week, and be careful this weekend.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.